what I should do, and I wish you would be right here with me. My mind is filled with pictures of when we used to dance, but now I don't know where you are.
Hey everybody, it's Mickey, and in today's video I'm sharing with you my spring home decor. I have really kept things very simple this season. We've made some changes here in the house, moved some things around a little bit, and I really love the new cozy feel. So if you're new here, I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe. I put out new videos every week about all things home. We are going to start our tour here in the family room. This is my new favorite place to be. I brought in some plaid chairs that I've had for years, and I add a little bit of that rusty red color around the room. To me, there is just something about plaid that makes a room look so comfortable and inviting, and I like having the chairs on each side of the fireplace with a cozy blanket on the back. I think it's the perfect setting to curl up with a good book or have a great conversation and just spend some time with your favorite people. I'm still loving my wreath above the mantle. I had bought the base of this wreath at Hobby Lobby a couple years ago, and I have just been adding flowers and colors to it to match the room and the seasons. To tie the new chairs in, I added a little bit of that rusty red color with some silk hydrangeas that I also found at Hobby Lobby, and I think that this wreath still looks beautiful. For me, green is the color of spring, and it just so happens that green is my favorite color, so spring gives me the opportunity to bring out my favorite Panero Bordalo plates. They are always somewhere in the background, especially here in my chalk painted china cabinet, but in the spring I like to feature them a little bit more and bring them up front. I think that they are such a great mix with that silvery light green of lamb's ear, and even though it is spring, I still like to have a few sprigs of pine mixed in. The sunflower pitcher I found recently at Hobby Lobby, along with these craft colored eggs. The shredded paper filler I always find at the Dollar Tree, and I use it as a filler for all of my flower arrangements. This china cabinet was my very first chalk paint project, and it has turned into one of my favorite pieces in my whole house. I love to use it as a place to hold photos of our family. Family photos are really important to me. My husband and I both come from really large families, and we live a distance from the majority of our family, so having their pictures throughout our home is like always having them nearby. I get asked about my coffee table and end table all the time. Now, I found these a couple years ago on Wayfair. I'm not sure if they are still available, but I will try to leave a link down below to something that's similar. The centerpiece on my coffee table remains pretty much the same all year long. I just like to add certain elements to reflect the season. For spring, I've added a little bird nest to my lantern with a couple berries with that really pretty rusty red color in them. I've also added this adorable bunny that I found at Hobby Lobby this year. If you have followed me for a while, you know that I collect antique typewriters. Now, I only have 4 of them, but I so love them, and I always am on the outlook to find a new treasure. There is just something about typewriters that I love. I'm really not sure what it is. I think it could have something to do with when I was really young. My dad was working his way through college, and I would sit with him when he would type out his papers. I would color in my coloring book while he worked, and we would always share Oreos. I guess it's just a happy memory that I associate with typewriters. Who knows? Whatever the reason is, I always include them in my decorating. For spring, I've dressed my typewriters up with some lamb's ear, a little bird nest sitting on some coverless books with a wooden bead garland. I heard from some of you that you would like to see what I have behind my sofa. So back here I have an old sofa table that I have had for years and years. On top I have a couple of lamps that I got from Kirkland's. I have another one of those metal lanterns with a bird nest on it for spring, and I have my bunny weather vane that is out all year long because it's always been a favorite of mine. This antique door was found at one of our local antique stores. I love it so much because, you really don't find green doors all that often. They're usually white, wood, or black, but this was a green one that I fell in love with, and actually my kids got it for me. I think it was for Mother's Day, probably like 10-15 years ago, and I have loved it ever since. It's always somewhere in the house. Moving into the kitchen, I am keeping it simple here as well. This Easter will be very quiet around our house with most of our kids doing other things on that day, so I've decided I'm going to take it a little easy as well. A lot of my spring decor in the kitchen has to do with my Dunn bunnies that I still love and I have out on the countertops. I also like to add a few bunnies and bird nests to the crock on my stove just to bring a little bit of the season there as well. Keeping it simple on my kitchen table this year, I'm not doing a full tablescape like I usually do. I just have a table runner and this wooden Lazy Susan, both from Target. I have them dressed up with a lamb's ear wreath, a small lamp, that bunny plate I found at Crate & Barrel years ago. I have an old family picture here and those cute little bunny ears I found at Hobby Lobby. So let's talk about Dunn for a little bit. I have been asked if I am still a collector, and yes, I still collect Dunn. However, I have not found many pieces that I love enough to bring home and add to my collection. I have my canister set out all year long, and I add seasonal pieces here in the kitchen throughout the year. And I have a pretty large collection that I keep in my china cabinet in the family room and throughout my dining room, and I really do still love the pieces that I have. So if you are a Dunn collector, are you finding pieces that you love, or are you like me, what you see out in the stores just doesn't interest you? On my island, I have the lamb's ear DIY arrangement that we put together in one of my last spring videos, along with a couple little bunnies. And yes, that is a fall candle that I still have out. Truth be told, I am not a big fan of the spring and summer candles. I like scents that are more spice-based than sweet-based. So I tend to burn my fall and winter candles all year long. A spring decoration that makes an appearance every year is this egg wreath that I got from Pier 1 years ago. I really love this wreath. I think that it has such a unique grapevine shape. I've really missed having a local Pier 1 store. They always had such great holiday selections, and I just don't think to go online and shop like I probably should. One of the changes that I've made around the house is moving the skirted table that was in the front hallway into the kitchen, and then moving the cabinet that was here in the kitchen into the hallway. I think it's fun to change things up a little bit every now and then, and having, basically neutral decor makes it a lot easier to do that. On this little table, I have a 2-tiered tray that I think I found at Marshall's, decorated with a Strawberry Street bunny teapot, a couple Dunn pieces, a little bird nest, and the lamps I found on QVC. I talked a little bit about what I was going to be doing in the front hall in my spring video a couple of weeks ago. The idea again here is to keep everything as simple as possible. I think moving the ivory cabinet to the hallway was such a great addition to this space. The centerpiece of the entranceway is this tall chalk painted armoire that I purchased from a local furniture store a few years ago. Since this is a 2-story foyer, I like to decorate on top of this cabinet to bring the eye up. I've added an archway here that I found on DECOCRATED, a large grass basket from Target, and I filled it with pillows, quilts, and greens. This pretty eucalyptus and berry wreath I found at the at-home store, and I thought it was just perfect the way it was. It didn't need any bows or ribbons. I use these square balsam wreaths for every season. I have one here on my powder room door and one on the laundry room door. I've kept it really simple by just making a big fluffy bow from cream and tan buffalo check ribbon. The bunny ears are the same ones that I had in the centerpiece on my kitchen table that I found at Hobby Lobby. I love the difference that this cabinet has made here in the foyer. I have always wanted to change the skirted table with something else, but I never really knew what I wanted in that spot. While I was on Pinterest, I found an inspiration picture that I really loved, and then I realized I had the perfect option already in the house. I really love when I can make a big change like this without spending any money. I still have my DIY archway up that I had over the holidays, and I think that it still looks really great. I switched out the winter bow for this simple cream and tan buffalo checked ribbon. I'm hoping to keep things very neutral here so that the majority of this decor can carry me all the way through until the end of summer. I've never been the biggest fan of the summer season, so I just kind of hold my breath until glorious fall comes back around. I have just a few spring touches here in the living room. I have another one of my antique typewriters on the coffee table. I have it all dressed up for spring as well with a bird's nest, some lamb's ear, and a little fluffy bow. I always keep these books with my children's name on them here on the table, along with a plate of antique buttons and a picture of my husband and one of his brothers when they were small. I have another one of the metal lanterns here next to the curio cabinet with a gray and white ribbon, lamb's ear, and a little bird's nest. So thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed my spring decor home tour. My video was just a little bit late this week. I did take a few days off to celebrate my birthday with the family, but I will be back next week with a Whole Foods field trip and some really great recipes for you. Please join our communities over on Facebook and Instagram at My Bashful Life, and please don't forget to subscribe. I would really love to have you all back as part of our YouTube family. So until I see you in the next video, I hope that you love the life that you have, be kind to each other, pray for peace, and I will see you again soon. Bye.